Denver International Rules Forum and Metropolitan University to speak on water crisis around the world and how important Tibet is. So that's my promo for tomorrow's talk. Now, as I and Carol entered her department, there was a TV screen and there was a poster of today's talk with a picture of me and His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So in the description, I was asked to talk about my own experience as an exile leader. But some of you might know there's a bit of a breaking news going on about His Holiness the Dalai Lama giving a kiss or a hug to a boy, and then you just name leading news media has been covering this as though it's a major world event for 3 days in a row. And this morning I read the rapper singer Cardi B tweeted and said, "Oh, the people in power, the man, they abuse children and so forth." And the next tweet was, "There you go," And then she was sharing the news about the Lama kissing the boy. And that made me wonder, and I better say something about it. Partly because if you want to say something about His Holiness the Dalai Lama, you better know him as a person who he is. For Tibetans, he is everything. He is the manifestation of Buddha compassion. We truly believe that. But if you want to share something like that, Cardi B, and others, you should know. If you ask any Tibetan, they will say, absolutely, His Holiness has no intention, no motivation whatsoever you think, you allege that His Holiness has done. But if you ask any Buddhist also, they will come to the same conclusion. But generally, anyone who knows His Holiness will say he's a very funny person. He likes to crack jokes, make fun of him. For example, I have been with him for 10 years. I accompanied him in many places. So, if you are a person, let's say, with a beard, he will hold your beard and pull you, don't you? And if you have a mustache like that, he will, play with your mustache, sometimes pull it down. I mean, you spend many minutes in the morning, right, making sure your mustache, you pull it down, right? And it is also politically incorrect. If you have big nose, you say, oh, big nose, big nose. And if you have big head, you say, big head, big head. Now, can you imagine His Holiness the Dalai Lama going to meet the President of America, Barack Obama, at the White House? That's a serious stuff, right? And when His Holiness meets Barack Obama, first thing he says is, oh, big ear, big ear, you have big ear. He plays with the ear. And Obama also says, oh, you notice, huh? So each time he met with, he used to joke, oh, today also I played with this game. So it's like that. Then if you're bald, that's it. You say, you look like me. You rub your head and give you one whack. Sometimes quite hard. So he plays with everybody. That's it. And then another story. This is politically correct. He was giving a talk at Harvard University. So he had to enter through a tunnel up the stairs. So in the tunnel, in the basement, there was office as well. So we cleared the tunnel. So I was with His Holiness and security. We were walking. And then one lady, just opened her office cabin and came up with a fire, right? She was literally walking towards other direction. And as soon as His Holiness the Dalai Lama saw this lady, he went running. Gave her one whack. She was like quite curious. Who the hell picked me? She turned around. She saw the Dalai Lama. Everybody was like, it was like a surprise and also, pleasant surprise. And then he gave a big hug, right? And they all start laughing. And what did he say to her? Fat, fat, fat. She was she laughed, and they hugged and walked together to the stairs, and they walked up the stairs, and he said bye-bye to her, and she said bye-bye to him. And she shares the story. My man, he gave me one whack and called me And she was not offended. Why? Because you see, the motivation and intention of His Holiness was clear. Right? That's why people don't get offended. And once I was in Washington, D.C., and met with the Senate Majority Leader Henry, and then it's very difficult to get meetings. Okay? And there was this lady, woman, who arranged this meeting. She was the advisor of Homeland Security. And then she helped me, and I asked her why, and she said, once she was pregnant, and she went to a doctor, and the test showed something negative, and the doctor told her something's wrong with the baby. Now, can you imagine you're pregnant, about to give birth, and the doctor says something is wrong with the baby? You get terrified, right? And then His Holiness Dalai Lama was coming to Washington, D.C. So all the people were lined up, and she was also lined up, and His Holiness walked, And then, he was shaking hands, and as he saw her, and he pointed at her belly and said, pregnant, teasing, and rubbed her belly. Now, a monk, supposed to be, rubbing a woman's belly, doesn't sound that politically correct, right? But when she was telling me the story, she was in tears, almost in tears. She said, and then a few days later, she was a doctor. Doctor said, Steve, nothing is wrong with her. She literally believed that because Dalai Lama touched her belly, he cured whatever the problem of the baby had. Now, in one context, it's politically incorrect to touch a woman's belly as a monk, right? But in another context, she was very grateful. So, we all must know that Dalai Lama is very grateful. And then, he just made fun of a lot of things. Now, Cardi B also said that this is the context why there is a headline news about His Holiness, like all this powerful man abusing their power and things like that. Now, let me give you a story. No one knows this, okay, except for 10 people. No one knows the story. During COVID, we all were scared. Yes or no? More than 1 million people died in America. Also in India. America was number 1, India was number 2. 10 or so million people have died so far, especially the elders. And His Holiness Dalai Lama fits in that category. He was 85 and he was 86 years old. Yes or no? Right? Very vulnerable. So I was coming to Washington, D.C. His personal physician, Dr. Siddhartha, asked me, hey, you're going to D.C. The America is almost coming out with Pfizer vaccine. Can you arrange some for His Holiness? And I had a friend at the White House, I talked to him, and he said, okay, it can be arranged. And he told the vaccine coordinator at the White House, that's in November and December 2020. So, and then they communicated to the U.S. Embassy in Delhi, and I also knew Ambassador Ken Jester, the staff Graham. We talked, and he said, okay, there will be 100 vaccines, 100 shots for His Holiness Dalai Lama and people around. So I was very happy. I said, I did something that Pfizer was about to be launched, right? And we thought we have to protect our treasure, His Holiness Dalai Lama, and only vaccine could have protected. And then the physician and the private secretary goes to His Holiness and says, Your Holiness, we're getting a vaccine for you. American government is ready to give you a vaccine. What does His Holiness say? He said, me? Why? 1.4 billion Indians, they're not getting vaccine. I see these local Indians here, they're not getting vaccine. Why should I get vaccine first? I wait till all the people in India get vaccine. Please think, government of America, that I don't want that vaccine. Can you imagine? How many multi-millionaires and billionaires and rich and the powerful scramble to get vaccine for them and for their parents and grandparents? Yes, sir. Yes, we all tried. His Holiness refused to take vaccine from American government. Now, after a few months, government of India launched AstraZeneca vaccine, which is 67% effective. Okay? Pfizer is 93% effective. His Holiness Dalai Lama said, I'll take 60% effective AstraZeneca. Then his private secretary and the physician again called me. I was in Delhi. Hey, can you ask the health minister of India to give this shot at his residence, so that His Holiness doesn't have to go to local hospital, because COVID is infected through contacts. More people there are, more chances you will get COVID, right? So you have to prevent His Holiness the 80, almost 86 years old, from going to the local hospital. And then I talked to the health secretary and I talked to the health minister of Himachal Pradesh, that state, and the health secretary. They all agreed, and they called the chief medical officer of Dharamsala, and he also agreed. Then he called the physician, the private physician of His Holiness, and said, okay, we are ready to bring 15 shots to His Holiness residence. His Holiness and people surrounding will be given AstraZeneca shots tomorrow at his residence. And then we also, this is such a good news. And then they all approached His Holiness and said, Your Holiness, they're coming to give you a shot. He said, why? Why should I take shot here? I should take shot like any other local Indians. I'm going to go to the local hospital. And he went to the local hospital to take the shot. So if there's anyone in the world who will not use his popularity or power or influence, is His Holiness there. COVID was life and death issue. Like people were scrambling to get COVID shot. His Holiness refused Pfizer. Or he went to the hospital. So unless you know these stories about His Holiness, he makes fun of everybody. Right? You just can't comment and say, my goodness, look at this picture. So yes, news media covered it, okay. Yet it did look odd. As a Tibetan and as a Buddhist, we would say, my God, that boy is so lucky. This is how Tibetans view. He must be something special. He must be boy of some special karma. And this is how he met history. Yes, in Western context, it might look politically incorrect. It's understandable. That's why His Holiness the Dalai Lama offers issued an apology. So, okay, if he has hurt someone, including the boy or anyone, I'm sorry. And it's time to move on. Why play this out? Now, if news media, if they're so concerned about children, yes, they should be concerned about children. What about 1 million Tibetan children who are sent to colonial boarding schools, who are uprooted from their nomadic and farming families, who are forced to send to boarding schools, where they're cynicized, where they're taught only in Chinese? What about that? 1 million Tibetan children. UN human rights experts have written a report and expressed their concern that 1 million Tibetans are getting cynicized, made into Chinese, forcibly, with no choice whatsoever. What about 1 million Tibetan children? Did you cover this news? No. But you play up these headlines. So I urge news media, including those celebrities who have no idea what they're talking about, let's move on and let's deal with serious stuff, including human rights violations and Xinjiang and other places. So with that, that's my brief comment on this issue, because after listening to me, you might wonder, oh, what the hell is going on here? When you Google, that news might pop up. But you must understand His Holiness as a person. Anyone who has been close to him will, oh yeah, that's His Holiness. By the way, my own experience, okay? So in 2011, as Carol explained, I got elected. And obviously I thought I'm the Prime Minister of Tibet, I'm an exile, I should be very dignified and I should be learned and I should be serious. And His Holiness was introducing me to the Tibetan public. And so it's all saying, yeah, he has good education, he has this degree from Harvard and all that, but his Tibetan is like a school kid. I am a leader of the Tibetan people. I'm supposed to give speech in Tibetan. My oratory in Tibetan is supposed to be good, right? Yes or no? And His Holiness said, no, he's Tibetan is like a school kid. And then everybody laughed. I was a bit embarrassed. I was so loud. That's His Holiness for us, okay? He's politically incorrect, He says stuff, But did I feel anything towards him? Not at all. He's sincere. He's clear. He's clean, I have utter respect for him, devotion towards him. So that's His Holiness. So, I have many stories to share like that. But today's, because we have the half the poster is about His Holiness, my photo is attached. I must, come and explain to him who he is. So hopefully, media will take note of this and write this stuff as well.